So I thought it'd be useful just to give you a little bit of an update on where AI as relates to EPM systems. They fall into three key areas. Let's go through each of those. So predictive analysis, that's probably been around the longest. Originally that was referred to as machine learning, as you may well have been using it a couple of years ago even. As you would expect, it's developed over time. But the idea of predictive analysis is you're predicting the future based on past data. It can take very large data sets. It can take multiple data points, multiple dimensions. And in particular, machine learning can spot patterns that it's very difficult just with human analysis to do. So you might feed in a model with 3, 4, 5, 6 variables, and it will see relationships between those variables that aren't necessarily apparent just by doing standard Excel or other analysis. So it's very powerful for that. You do need to have a particular type of business for that. You need to have a business that has that sort of data and that predictability. You need to have a good level of history. You need to have a solid, clean set of data. Core machine learning is definitely one use of AI in forecasting and analysis, and possibly the most predictable one. The second use case, and this has developed over certainly over the last 6 months, and it's true of the general community as well. Large language models, they've really starting to come on now. They certainly haven't stopped. They're developing at a rate of knots. But large language model use in EPM systems is definitely becoming a thing. So what does this mean? Large language model, you are typing or speaking to the computer in natural language, and the AI is interpreting that and doing something in the system. So the way that's, and it's responding back in language largely. So example would be, you've got a classic cost center report, actual versus budget, a variance, maybe several cost centers, maybe a whole P&L account. And you ask the AI, please give me a summary of this data, or please, don't have to say please, give me an analysis of this data, show me the anomalies, highlight the differences, and that was sort of, goes in line with typing into ChatGPT really. And you'll get back a summary analysis in English that will form the narrative that you might use for board reports or explaining variance analysis in the way you normally would in your classic reporting, which is typically Excel and PowerPoint. So that's really coming on. That's really coming on quite quickly, and the pace of that is really being dictated by the pace at which the large language models, ChatGPT, OpenAI, so on, are developing. So that will get better as they get better. They are the analysis, the large language models in the EPM systems are piggybacking those bigger large language models. It just is not economically efficient or effective to try and build your own. It is they tend to use the secure versions of the existing large language models. Now that's really coming on quite fast. Certainly I've seen provide a summary, that's been there for a while. Now provide a detailed analysis, and it will go further in depth and perhaps give some contextual ideas as to why a number might be up or down. So it'll give you ideas, because at the end of the day, this analysis is done because you're trying to take a decision or to identify a trend. And the large language models are now helping identify what might be causing an up or a down or a difference, and starting to spot trends. I think that's going to develop. I think that's going to become much more embedded. The more context that can be given to a large language model about the business or the industry, the more it's going to be able to suggest reasons why numbers are going up or down. Knowing that numbers are going up or down is helpful, but you have to know why. I think that's going to start contributing towards the why much more. It's certainly an area where I think we should be watching over the next few months in terms of AI. You normally say a few years, but a few months. That's going to become a thing. The third area is agentic AI. What's agentic AI? Agentic AI is where you're coupling up the AI to a system or a process, and the AI can actually make changes to the process and do what a human might do as part of the process. Again, that's going up a very steep development curve at the moment. There are good examples and use cases. There have been some good examples in the marketing world. We use HubSpot, for instance. It's had good agentic AI for a while. I think everyone knows that the area of coding, you can actually talk to an AI system now, and it will do the coding for you. Actually write the code, and on your system, you don't have to go and type in. There's no human input. It just does it. That's developed really quickly and changed that particular industry forever. I think that's becoming part of EPM systems now as well. The idea that you don't just say, "Why? Please give me a summary of this data." You say, "I have a forecast. Please increase this by 3%. Please improve that by 5%. Please get this profit number up to X million by changing this, that, and the other. Give me 3 different scenarios." It will go away and create those scenarios for you. That is where this is going. It's still relatively early days, but I think this will develop really, really fast. I think it's where we could be going over the next year in particular. I think this is a use case that wasn't apparent before, because that's the sort of use case you can put in front of non-financial people. You could put that in front of an operational manager, and they could develop their forecast by using language input and not having to actually go and change fields and so on in the system to get an output that reflects what they see happening in the real world. In order to make good use of these, firstly, you have to be using a system in the first place. If you're on Excel, you're not going to be able to use any sort of AI to any great extent to improve your forecasting. It'll be a very limited use case. You need to be on a modern EPM system that has AI built in order to take advantage of these. But you also have to have your data structured well. AI is going to interpret well-structured data better than it can interpret a mess. If you don't have your data in order, if you haven't got a good set of history, if you haven't got a good set of context, then clearly you're not going to get as good an answer out of the system as you would if you have that in place. So it's if you're not along that path now, then start thinking about it quickly. We always talk about people getting left behind, and I think this is a case where it's actually possibly true. A gap will build up in the market. The key learning for me, I think, is that not that AI is going to take away work necessarily, although it will improve the build process and building reports and stuff like that. It will make it a bit quicker, but that's really doesn't take that long in the first place. It will help managers build out different scenarios, and that's great. That will save a bit of time. But I think the real time saving is if you've got well-structured data and you're able to produce reports and analysis quickly, which you can just with a standard EPM system without AI. It's the time you save that allows you to go and understand why a number has moved. So sales are up in Singapore, great. You can put that on a variance analysis and you can show a peak on a graph, and that's great. But the first question you're going to be asked is why? why is revenue up in Singapore? And unless you've had the time to actually pick up the phone or write the email to the manager in Singapore and understand the context and understand it's either a peak because of a one-off freak monsoon rain, or actually, no, this is a trend because they found a new market. That's the important context. And buying yourself the time to understand that context, the real world context, I think is what everyone really wants. And you can get a lot of that just by having a good EPM system. The AI enhances that, but without that core EPM solution in place, the AI is not going to be much good. So to summarize, AI is moving fast. Everybody knows that. AI is moving just as fast in the EPM space as it is in other spaces, and there are some clear use cases now coming out of that. Clearly, in order to take advantage of that, you need to be on those systems. If you're going out and choosing a system, there's everyone knows the leading products. They're not hard to find. They've all got an AI roadmap. You want to understand what the roadmap is. Firstly, buy a system that's got an AI roadmap. If they can't show you a roadmap that's probably 80% AI, warning flags, I would say. But all of the leading systems are developing very fast on AI. Some are here, some are here. Yeah, it depends which bit they're developing first. Clearly, Jedox is well up there. I think it's also something that's moving very quickly. I could easily do one of these videos in 6 months' time, and something will have moved on again. As long as you're on a system that has the capability and AI inbuilt, you're going to be able to take advantage of that, because obviously the software providers are going to take advantage of the new technologies. So I think first thing, get yourself on an EPM system, make sure it's got AI enabled, get your core systems well set up and structured, and then take advantage of the AI that's in it. I think that's the correct order to think about it. Don't sit there and wait. It's moving too fast.